Hi, Nick here with MedTech World. Sitting beside me, we have Andrew Baynes from GT Life Sciences. Good to have you.
Hi, Nick.
You're busy producing some innovative technologies, products for companies within the MedTech space. What's new in your world?
Yeah, so obviously there's a lot of talk at the moment about AI, which since a lot of people are saying a lot of things, maybe it'd be a good point for me to just put my comments in context so folks can understand where I'm coming from. So I'm CEO and co-founder of a life science tech company called GT. We specialize in providing outsourced software engineers and engineering teams to life science and medtech companies. My background is Apple, so I was part of Apple's product design division for 12 years in Silicon Valley, and then I left Apple with a small team to help start a smart home company called Nest, which we sold to Google in 2014. And it was around that time I became familiar with the incredible tech scene out in Ukraine and Poland and Romania and places like that. Ended up buying a company and selling tech back to my friends who I met at Apple and Google. So fast forward to current day, and obviously we are now moving into what many people are calling the next tech bubble. During my 25-year career, I've seen 7 bubbles. Some of them burst and evaporated into nothing. Nearly all of them burst, but the interesting ones left a sort of remnants of a supportive foundation on which new industries grew. So you saw that with web, you saw that to a certain extent with the
even with blockchain, right?
Large data grab models, and automation and so on. We're now into the third growth decade of AI, and yes, you heard me correctly, AI has been around that long. The difference now is that the cost of compute and the access to engineering is starting to make some of the more challenging vectors of AI obtainable. So particularly when it comes to reasoning, automated reasoning, things that you can apply to drug discovery as well. This starts to become sort of real applications rather than just vaporware, which is a term that was bandied around the Silicon Valley quite often.
Sure, your teams of data scientists, they're upskilling in that area?
Yeah, so our specialty right now is generative AI for our clients who are looking to automate drug discovery or bring automation to clin trials, speed up clin trials. There's also a lot that AI can do in the customer-facing interfaces. So, for example, there's a big push in the UK to do what's called a Pharmacy First initiative, and we are building an AI-driven chatbot, for want of a better description, for a large pharmaceutical firm who shall remain nameless, to help move traffic away from GPs and into non-prescription based consultations. Yeah.
Fantastic. Cool.
So in short, I think I would sort of talk about AI in 3 headings. For those of you who are entrepreneurs or C-suite leaders of large organizations, I think you need to understand this current bubble in 3 headlines. The first I would call the catch-up stage, and this is where both generative, predictive, and agentic AI is already showing models and applications that will deliver solutions that we should have had 20 years ago. So we're catching up on things that are just critically important for our well-being and the efficiency of the health tech, medtech, life science sector. So for example, customization of dosages. we'll be looking back 10 years from now and shaking our heads in disbelief that a 90 kilogram male was getting the same dose as a 55 kilogram female, and so that should have been delivered decades ago, but it's AI, particularly predictive AI and large language models that can start to automate the matching of dosage levels to biometric data and so on. Another example would be automating drug discovery, trying to bring down a 4 to 5 year process of R&D into 4 to 5 months, using and here's the other thing for executives out there is often there's a misconception that by accelerating a well-proven process, for example in drug discovery, that you're going to have to cut corners on quality or integrity of your research. And that the beautiful thing about AI, and I would even argue that is unique to AI, is that you don't compromise on those two ends of the equation. You can, using well-architected AI models, you can deliver high-pace innovation and acceleration with zero compromise to integrity and quality. And that I would say is uniquely AI. I haven't seen that in many of the other tech vectors that I've built or been part of during my days at Silicon Valley. So that's the first headline, which is catch up. Second headline is optimization. And this is, I would describe this as sort of how the next, if catch up is sort of where we are today, optimization is how I would describe the next 16 to 24 months of AI application. And this is where large and small organizations and whether private corporations or government bodies are going to start applying AI to release and relieve highly constrained manual operations and processes. So this could be anything from the Pharmacy First initiative that I was mentioning earlier on, relieving GPs from people who are coming in about just plain headaches or hay fever or whatever it may be, and just pushing that all onto AI-driven platforms. Automated dispensing. I'm seeing a lot of work in that, and this has two interesting vectors to it. One is just bringing the pharmacy closer to people and making it readily accessible. But at the content level, automation in the sort of clinician element and the dispensing element starts to open up a whole new paradigm about what drugs belong with a prescription and what belong over the counter. And we're not even standardized within Europe on that, which is extraordinary to me. And yet there's a huge backlog of appointments and not enough doctors. This is where, again, automation and AI can start to make this much safer, have delivery of, either over-the-counter or over-the-shelf medicines done in a safe way, and so on and so on. And then the third part of this second category is introducing highly secure and encrypted standardized medical passports or medical data files on a large language model. So we can start to address some of the challenges in that previous point about standardization, making sure the role of the clinician is made much simpler than it currently is. If you talk to clinicians today, they are essentially saying they're skeptical about tech, they're skeptical about AI. They've been sold a lot of snake oil in the past, and it hasn't made a huge difference to their roles. So understandably, they are skeptical about what's happening here. But in the meantime, they're managing unstandardized, massive data sets, very complex sort of user throughputs, and all of that can start to be optimized in this second heading. Finally, and then I'll be quiet, is the third heading, which I would describe as sort of being the space that occupies 24 months to sort of 5 years from now, and I would call this the art of the possible. This is where AI allows large and small enterprises, whether research institutions or drug development companies or MedTech technology providers, any of those, to start experimenting and iterating on the art of the possible. This can be done through digital twins, this can be done through 3D prototyping, this can be done through very high cadence, sort of what I would call software speed iterations on designs and features and benefits, doing A/B tests before you go to market, a whole range of product solutions that AI will start to really reduce that path of resistance that I so often encountered in my early days. That bar to entry is now much, much lower through AI.
Cool. It sounds like you're at the forefront. GT is right there, the space to be if anyone is looking to kind of improve the business and get in on the space.
And I'm going to do a little shameless plug.
Plug away.
This is our 4th report from GT. So if anyone's interested, this is called the UX Revolution in Medicine. We've brought in some of the top thought leaders from around the world to talk about the importance of user experience, UX, at all aspects of MedTech and life science delivery. Because having come from Silicon Valley, I strongly believe that this is an area that's pretty much overlooked in the life science sector. It's a very high ceiling, and nobody seems to really be occupying it, whether it's B2C or B2B. So anyway, download that report from gtlifescience.com, and you can find out what the best thought leaders think about it.
Andrew Baynes, thanks for gracing us with your presence. And Nicholas signing off from MedTech World.